Hey, you would have thought it was spring here in DC. But did you know black and brown people across the world are reconnecting to their roots and redefining their relationships to the land by gardening and farming? And Black Gardener Talk is dedicated to sharing those voices to inspire all people of color and maybe even some that don't look like us to grow by any means necessary. But sometimes we just need our own safe space to talk. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Kamani Anku, and this is Black Gardener Talk. And my guest today is Karen Knights. Let me see where she is so we can get this thing popping. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining. Let's get what's going on with her. Thank y'all for joining me. Good morning.
Hey,
Hey,
hey, good morning.
good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are
I'm
you?
doing well. I'm doing actually really, really good. It is or negative.
Oh, yeah, great. That's good to hear.
Yes, I can get outside and do some things. Gonna put that mask on though.
Yeah, for sure. Is it serious now? It seems like everyone is getting it again.
Yeah, it's crazy out
Yeah,
there. Um, but yeah,
girl.
there's a lot of people jumping on. Thank y'all for coming back at 11:30. I had to
Yeah,
take care of some things this morning, and still didn't get them all done. But yeah, we're gonna work on it after this broadcast. But let's jump right into it, Karen. Um, what is your first memories of gardening? That's how I kind of like to start it off all the time.
Oh, honestly speaking, my first memory of gardening is where I grew up in Guyana in Mahaica. It's a little country area, and seeing my grandparents' backyard from the minute you open the gate and it goes all the way down. It was nothing but fruit trees, vegetables. It's just seeing it all in their yard and our yard. We had a bunch of fruit trees as well. It's just that was like my first memory of seeing it because in that village everyone was, gardening. They had a little garden. So that was like my first memory of it is just seeing my grandparents in their yard and our yard.
That's what's up now to America. When did you decide that you're going to start a garden?
Actually, when we moved to Connecticut,
Okay.
my yes, my when my siblings and I we came to New York. Boogie Down Bronx was our first stop. And then, we moved to Queens, and then my husband worked in Connecticut. So it wasn't, conducive to live in New York and work in Connecticut. So when I moved up here, that was what, 17 years ago. And, our daughter was what, 5 months. And I decided, okay, I need to do something because I had very bad postpartum and I just needed something to get my mind off of that. So that's when I decided to start a garden.
Okay. And that definitely helped, I'm sure, because I feel like gardening saved my life from some depression as well. Talk about that. How was that? How was the garden really instrumental in really helping you get over that postpartum?
When we got here, the house that we bought, the yard, the gentleman before us, I guess he was an avid gardener, but it was a lot of flowers and stuff. So he had the beds laid out in the front. So when I saw a small spot, I said I wanted that spot to do this because I find myself, my husband works, so I was a stay-at-home mom, and having our little daughter, she was so little, and I was feeling in such like I don't even know how to describe it. There was a loss for words, but I knew I had to get up and take care of her. But then I wanted something more than that, than just the chores and taking care of her. So I got the small spot outside that he had already carved out, this gentleman before us. And I said to my husband, I'm just going to put a few things here just because, because I found that it brought me so much peace. when I went outside and started playing in the dirt and watching the things grow. And then I had her out there with me. She would just sit on the grass and, she'll just sit there because she was little at the time. And it really, really helped me through how I felt. And, being alone as well, away from my family in New York, was a bit tough for me as well. So that whole just starting it really got me through, and it put me in a positive mindset and, helped me get through the way that I was feeling, and honestly speaking, I have never wanted to ever do that again or go through it again. And I don't wish it on my worst enemy, because it's something that you really can't explain. One minute you're crying and the next minute, like you don't know where to go with yourself.
Oh yeah, I've been there, so I know what you're talking about. What was the first crop that you put in that space?
I actually multiple crops because, listen, go big or go home.
Okay.
I actually put the first things I put in there was tomatoes, cucumbers, and some flowers. It was like three things, but I just wanted it to look pretty, but also I just wanted to start off small because I didn't know how the soil was, and I just put it down. I didn't think about soil health or anything like that. So I just put some seeds down and it actually flourished.
Okay, that's what's up. And then, well, okay, so you didn't do a soil test. You didn't really know about that. Were there any mistakes during that time that you learned from?
Actually, Hmm. At that time, no, because I think the gentleman before us, he really did a lot with the yard because the grass was green, everything was healthy. So I figured he must have done some work to the soil in the area, because that area there where I chose actually had some flux growing. So I just kind of clear a little piece just to put the tomatoes and the cucumbers and stuff. And after it was when I started planting in the bag is when I found some mistakes that I made. I figured a soil test. Okay, let me try this because I've never even heard of a soil test because I'm coming from New York at this point, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of concrete out there. So the city, so you're not really, there's not, if you're going to go plant something, you're doing it in pots or if you have a little backyard. So I decided I'm gonna go get, one of those home tests that you find in like the big box stores. So I just went there and I got one and I started testing the soil. And I was like, oh, okay, what does this mean? And I started reading it. And that's when I realized, okay, I have to add some compost here, or I have to add this here or that here. And that was one of the mistakes I learned because I saw that some of my crops weren't doing well at the time when I moved to the bag. And that's when I was like, okay, let me test it and see what's going on. And that's when I learned to test my soil. So watching the crops not flourishing is what made me test.
And do you remember what those crops were that you tried to grow and it wasn't flourishing the way you wanted? Do you remember what those were?
Oh yeah, carrots. Carrots is my nemesis to this day. I cannot get it right for some reason. No matter what I try, I just can't. It was the carrots that I saw that wasn't doing well. And also, I believe I tried to put some peppers in the ground and they weren't doing so hot. And I was like, that's strange. So that's why I started growing my peppers in pots now. I don't put it in the ground at all.
Okay. Let's talk about these peppers because I heard you have this amazing pepper sauce that's going around. You selling it. Is what's up. Let's talk about those peppers and talk about the peppers from a point like growing them in the other country and now growing them in the United States. Your grandparents probably grew them in your home country, but talk about the difference growing them here versus over there.
Growing up back home, well, it's so much easier because you get sunshine. Like there's 365 days a year, except rainy season, of course. But it's much easier because the soil there. Remember, it's a tropical climate, so the soil there is already healthy as is. And plus, my grandpa used to. There was a way that he amended his soil. The dead stuff, things will fall. That's how. And we used cow manure. back in the day, because a lot of people had cattle and stuff like that. So you go to your neighbor, you get some cow, and you put it on there. And my grandpa used to chop it into the soil with a machete. So and or if he had a pitchfork, he would use that. But most times I saw him with the machete, and he would just stay chopping at the soil like that. Over here, it's a bit tricky because where we are in Connecticut here, the backyard, our backyard, that spot where my garden is like big, huge boulders were in the ground when I started digging in that area. So I had to get a lot of that out to make the ground, make the soil in the ground what it is. But growing it here is very tricky because you have to have a lot of, uh, how should I say, you have to have the right soil, the compost, the right everything to make it work. I when I put it in the ground, it just never do anything. The plant doesn't fall, the plant doesn't get bushy, and it's just like sometimes it's raining constantly. The sun isn't hot enough. It's way too much, scenarios. So,
Um, do you have a machete?
actually, I used to, but it got rusted, man. I forgot it outside and it got rusted. So I have to have my dad get me one. My dad is my go-to guy for that.
Okay, cool. And let's talk about that pepper sauce. I mean, people are buying this pepper sauce, and also people are buying the seeds. There are a couple people that's watching right now that has bought your seeds. Let's get into it because I want to know what is the family secret? Is it a family secret?
Yes, it is. I'm not telling. Yeah, this is five, six simple ingredients. It's just basically that's it. And plus, the main ingredient up in there is love. And there's also it's just watching my aunts, my uncle, my mom. We all just everybody used to make pepper sauce. It's just one of those condiments you have to have. In our culture, like most Caribbean people, we have to have the pepper sauce or hot sauce or whatever you want to call it. We have to have it. So just watching them and making it and putting it to cure, as we say. So that's how I learned to do it. And and mind you, there's no measurement. There's no measurement. I don't cook with any measuring spoon. Nobody can ask me for a recipe because I don't know what to tell you. It's just eyeball. It's just eyeball in your hand. Okay, that's
I
it. And taste.
mean, I think that's most black folks for the most part. For the most part. But
Yeah.
what made you decide, okay, I made this pepper sauce and I know it's good because my family says it's good, my husband says it's good, my friends are saying it's good. What made you say, okay, I'm gonna sell it? And
You
how
know,
did you know if it was gonna do well when you sold it? Especially to someone that's not necessary in your immediate circle.
yeah. Ex- um, hmm. What made me decide to do that was actually my brother. My brother, he should be a mayor. My older brother, I swear that boy knows a lot of people. So every time I used to make stuff, I would always, take the pepper sauce. Hey, every time make some pepper sauce, and I'll give it to him. Then his friends will come over and taste it, and then he just told me, like this, you should really try selling this. And then my husband said the same thing to me, and I'm like, huh, okay. And I just made it and put it up, and the way that I worded it is Guyanese style. And I know there's a huge Guyanese community in the States. So I figured that, they'll see it, and I only needed one stranger to taste it, and I put it up, and one stranger bought, and then many strangers came along.
And then it's a business and it's a go-to thing from what I hear. And
Yeah.
everybody in this room right now, they throwing hearts, so they must know it's good. I guess I got to put my order in um, for some at some point because I love hot stuff. I love it, really, really, really hot. I do work at a big box store, and there's a lot of Guyanese people there, so I might buy some and share it with them.
Yes, yes. And there's three different flavors that I have because there's lime, there's what we call soury, but it's bilimbi is the actual name of it, and then there's the regular one, which I call the fire sauce. So and they're all hot. There's if you're not tolerant of heat, they can't eat it.
Felicia says the presentation is awesome, and she still has the lavender you included. Talk
Oh,
about that. So if I order this pepper sauce, this Guyanese pepper sauce, I get a gift too in the
yeah.
packet.
Yes, actually, yes. Well, actually, most of the customers don't know. They just think they're ordering a pepper sauce, and then I put the bottle and whatever. But most times, every 100% of the time, I include something in there. No matter what it is, even if they're buying seeds, I always include a gift. The pepper sauce, I include a gift. It doesn't matter what it is. There's always a gift. Because you know what it is. As a buyer myself of a lot of things, I love a proper presentation. And I also we shop with our eyes, right? Because a lot of people, I hate when I buy something and it comes anyhow. It drives me nuts. My husband will hear me complain for like 5 minutes about it. about right? So I wanted that when my customers buy something from me, anything, it doesn't matter what it is, that when they get that package, it immediately brings a smile to their faces because we shop with our eyes, we open things with our eyes. So it's just a matter of I want you to feel special because you made me feel special when you placed that order. So I want you to have that same feeling.
That is a good marketing and that's a good brand. And I mean, I agree with you too. When I pop up on this live and I do it purposely, I want it to look good. You know what I'm saying? I want people to be like, damn, if it's just one person on, I want to was like, did you see he had the lights in the back, blah blah blah. You know, I love the whole package thing. So I really believe in that. Let's talk about these wellness boxes you also have too, because you was going through some things, you work at home, and then you wanted to do these post um prenatal care wellness boxes. What made you decide you want to do that too? And then what made you say, okay, I'm gonna sell these as well?
I decided to do those when the pandemic started. Um, because I found like I realized that myself, I was putting a lot of myself into being a stay-at-home mom and all that other stuff that comes with it. And I wasn't really giving myself enough care. And I was like, to hell with this. I need to figure something out. So I was like, you know what? Let me start putting these together. So my daughter was actually my tester on a lot of the like the bad stuff, like the bad salts. I was a tester on the foot soaks. My neighbors and my friends were also the tester on the foot soaks and stuff like that. So and then they was like, okay, it is good, Carrie, and do this, you should do this, you should do that. My daughter was like, Mama, do this, do this. I was like, okay, honey. And then I put it all together. So it all started throughout the pandemic. And the postnatal stuff started with, I think was my sister-in-law I was telling that to. And then she was like, okay, let me, I want to order one after. And these things came about because I did a lot of research. And also I was going from growing up and watching like when my mom had our little brother, the herbs that my granny used or the midwife used with my mom after she had our little brother. So it was just learning from all the bush medicine as we call it, from growing up doing it. And even myself, my grandma, I was sick one time, my grandma bathed me with neem, fresh neem off the tree, the neem leaves, and make a bath out of it and douse me with it. So it's learning from all of that. And plus, drinking a lot of it, like lemongrass. We had all these other things that we used to drink and still do to this day. So it was learning all of that and putting it all together and knowing the value of herbs and how it can heal. Like when my nephew's mom, she had him and she wasn't healing well. So I made her a box, and the minute she started using it, she started healing. She started healing immediately.
That's what's up. Now, when do you have time to do gardening if you putting together wellness boxes, um, doing these sauces? Because the sauces take a minute. You gotta, cook them. You gotta cut them up. When do you have time to garden?
Actually make the time. To be honest, I make the time because gardening is my number one passion. right? So that's where my most peace comes from. That's where my tranquility, the whole works. The minute I start walking towards my garden, that whole, I think of nothing, nothing at all, not a single thing. And, and I cross that threshold, there's not a thought. So that I always make time out. So I kind of schedule it to the point where, okay, these are the days that I go outside, and these are the days that I make the pepper sauces. Because it does take some time, and especially with the lime one, it takes it because I have to prep. That's one of the longest ones. You have to prep it, and then you have to let it sit for about like a week and a half before I could even put the post up or the listing on my shop and said it's available. So that takes the longest. So I carve out the days. This is when I'm going to be outside. This is when I'm going to be indoors. This is when I do mommy duties. This is when I do housewife duties, So I carve it all out. But gardening is my number one passion. And the one thing I always do is make the time for that.
That's what's up. They said you're a superwoman. It sounds like you're a superwoman.
Oh, yeah. My husband will tell you. He always tells me, babe, sit down. Really, sit down. I always move. I constantly move. He yells at me to sit down. Even when I'm not well, I'm like in the hospital bed and I'm ready to go do something.
So a lot of these wellness pack boxes and the sauces, you growing like 50% of these items or 100%? How much percentage of those herbs and peppers that are you growing in your yard or your
100%.
garden?
100%, believe it or not, 100%. Because the way that I laid my garden out, all the peppers are in pots. I shift them around. As they say, rotate your crops. So I will shift the bins around every year. I move them from one location to the other, and then one back of it is like all herbs, the lavender, the bee balm, the this, that, lemon balm, whatever herbs I need is all 100% all grown here. And my husband always tells me, babe, expand. I'm like, who's going to dig that up? Who's going to do all of that? Or he hates the outdoors. It comes out only when I call or yell that there is something I don't like outside. But everything is grown 100% here.
That's what's up. I love that, and I think you're doing amazing work for the people. And it seems like this. I mean, your community is here. They are here watching you. They are loving you. Hopefully, some new people pop on and take notice of Karen Knights and Gardener Zins and order some stuff and support you. I know I will. Um, what advice would you give a new gardener that's starting out? Let's
My
hear your take.
advice would be start small, right? Don't go big because I used to be on this group on Facebook, and a lot of new gardeners came up during the pandemic. But the mistake a lot of that was made was we all want to go big on the first try. Gardening takes patience as well. So start off small. And then gradually each year you feel like you want to add something new, add that. Because then it will give you the confidence you need at the end if you want to go big. But you got to start off small and start off with easy crops like, radishes, cucumbers, tomatoes is like one of the easiest things to grow. Things like that that will give you the confidence that you need. Because like I said, it requires a lot of patience. And if you don't have it, you're not gonna want to ever try again or do it again.
Oh, I agree. When I started, I was like, wow, I did start small, but then I got bigger and now I'm bigger. I grow about 60% of my own food, but my first two crops were strawberries and chives. And people's like, why chives? Why whatever? You know what I'm saying? And I was like, well, chives, I worked at Red Lobster, so I used to like the baked potatoes with the sour cream and chives. So that's why I did chives, and strawberries is like my favorite. And
Right.
so yeah, I would say start small too and then add stuff.
Yeah.
Like you said, each
Yep.
year add something new. And
Mhm.
I think I've ran out of new stuff now. That's just my stuff now is like probably something new of a variety, like a tomato. Maybe it would be a purple or yellow or pink or whatever. But I think I done ran out of all new stuff that I can possibly grow.
I'm always looking for new stuff. I'm always scouring the web looking for something new and and challenging kind of to grow because living in Connecticut, it is not hot. It is cold. As you know, we Northeast people, we know all about the cold, and it's I have a goal and a big dream of mine. I want to have like a whole heap of tropical fruits growing in my basement. And I want to have a greenhouse outside. Eventually I'll get there, but we have a college bound senior come this fall. So, my greenhouse dream has to be on hold for a minute. You need that college tuition. So that's
That's
my dream actually, to
true.
have a greenhouse
Yeah,
outside.
that's true. I mean, I just finished. Well, I'm finishing up my greenhouse, but I do grow papaya. They're not really big, but they're good for me.
Right.
My key thing I want to grow and then hopefully be successful at it and producing is mangoes. If I could do mangoes, um, I don't have to. I won't go to the grocery store no more.
And
And avocados.
I am with you there. I am so with. I did see the other day. I was scouring the internet, and I don't know what site I was on, and I saw that they had cold hardy avocado. I have to find it again, and I was like, oh, okay. And then my eyes, and my ears perked up. I was like, cold hardy. Okay, would that grow in zone 6B? I wonder. And of course, I'm ready to hit buy, right? But I got to read up on it some more. But I do have a mango in the basement, though. I definitely have one of those. It's a dwarf, grafted dwarf variety. I think it's Pickering, I believe it is. So if I can manage that, listen, we are good to go. We never have to go to the store again for some mango.
Oh, cool. I mean, I have what? I have passion fruit, papaya, of course, pineapples, mandarin oranges, lemons,
See?
of course,
Right.
and I do have a mango, but it just came from the seed. It'll probably take forever to do anything. But with climate changing
Yeah.
happening, they said my zone will probably it's like 7B or 7A now. It might turn into an 8. And then this weekend, I mean, yesterday was like 70 something degrees yesterday here in DC. And then it's like 56 today. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
It's for us, especially in the Northeast, right? Because we were so accustomed to the freezing cold, and it has this year has not been the same as what when we first moved up to Connecticut. I mean, snow up the knees. I mean, like for Christ's sakes! And now you go out and it's like 50 degrees right now.
Okay.
It's crazy.
I'm gonna look for that cold hardy avocado too. I'm gonna look that up today and see if I can get one as well. And find that mango too, like you got. I need that.
Listen, yeah, the Pickering. I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link when we get off. I'll send you the link to it. That's my dream, honestly, because in my boiler room right now, I have all kinds. I even have I went as far as getting an ice cream bean plant. Okay, listen, I got big dreams and hopes for this tropical oasis I'm trying to grow here in
I
Connecticut. I even got a
mean,
banana.
it can happen. You know what I'm saying? You already got the mango in the basement growing, you know, and stuff. So it could happen. Bananas can grow here, and so I haven't seen mine produce yet. But I do have little pups now. But my favorite that I've grown and I was so excited this year was my pomegranates. There were pomegranates everywhere. So I'm really excited about that. And then the next one is a dragon fruit. I had a dragon fruit in the house. I got one little baby dragon fruit, and I had took it outside because I said if I took it outside, I'll probably get more. But
Yeah.
it was hard to get inside, and when I brought it inside, it fell.
Oh.
And guess what? It's right on the floor, still on the floor.
Listen, I've done that. You know how many times I've broken my dragon fruit? I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I'm just gonna stick you here and just leave you. Decide what you want to do. I can't with this. And I was given that by a friend of mine. He was like, I didn't. He said, KK, I didn't have the night the deal for it. You do it. So he just added me to it. He just give it to me, and I'm like, now you're gonna make me grow dragon fruit, But it's in the basement. I just left it there because I've broken that poor thing so many times. But it always bounces back. You can sprout.
Yeah, mine is even bigger now. And it's just like it's still in the pot,
Yeah.
but it's just even bigger. I don't even know if I could get it out that room now. I'm gonna have to chop it up into pieces and start new ones. But
Yeah.
it will, I probably can't even get out the bedroom. But question: where do you get your seeds from, and then what got you into selling the ones that you did produce?
The ones that I sell actually, a lot of the peppers on there are, especially, there are some couple varieties from our my home country, and I just wanted those because I have gone on Etsy, and a few other places, and I'm always looking for for different things. I want it to be a shop where you can find like a not unique per se, but different type of peppers. And that was the reason why I chose the ones that's on the site because of my experience when I was looking for certain things. And I also, some of my seeds were given to me, were brought from various places by my friends. My dad is my seed guy whenever he goes to Guyana. My cousins, I enlist all my cousins, and then when they go to Guyana, they know the drill. Oh, Carrie, what do you want? And then I'm like, I get them a list, and then next thing you know, I'm getting it. Even when my friends travel to various countries, like well, right now, one of my friends is in Taiwan, he's probably going to bring me back something from Taiwan. So I get my seeds from wherever my friends travel. I also get them from friends. I also do seed swap. I love doing seed swap. I do seed swap. I started doing seed many years ago with a woman by the name of M&M Gardens, but she is no longer on social media. But now, Little Brady Lady, she does an amazing seed swap in the fall. So that's the swap that I do every year. And also, I believe it's JCM Garden that does a seed swap as well. So that's one great way to get a whole heap of seeds, varieties you've never seen, is to do seed swap. Plus, I scour for like the small mom and pop shops to see, like I love True Leaf. True Leaf, they're great. That's one of the places I also get. And I believe it's True Love Seeds. I have one of their packets somewhere. That's a great site. They have some amazing varieties. Like, I believe they're black owned, if I'm not mistaken. So I do get my seeds from them as well. So I scour and, friends and everybody else, here's some seeds. But the swapping is a great way. It's a great way to get a lot.
And today is National Seed Swap Day. So, folks, if you're out there, go find out if there's a seed swap somewhere in your neighborhood so you can
Yep.
swap some seeds. Maybe you can hit up Karen and follow her if you're not following her, and maybe y'all can swap some seeds. I'm going to a seed swap. We're having a seed swap festival today here in Maryland, put on by Parks and Rec. So once I get off here and load up some things on YouTube and everywhere else, I'm gonna go and pop my head in and see if I can find some rare seeds
Yeah.
there.
Right. And not only that, I also like every year I save tons of seeds from my garden, tons and tons and tons of seeds from my garden. So that's one of the ways that I continuously have a lot. I mean, and I send seeds to people all the time, like, okay, do you need some seeds? Just hit me up. And then I start giving them the list, and they're like, okay, wait, I got to think about this because it's a lot. It's a lot. I love saving it. So some of the plants I just let them go just for seed specifically. So from my garden, like last season, I saved so many, so many, and every year I keep doing the same thing.
And how can we get your seeds? Where can I go and find your seed store? Or
The,
how can the folks
my
find it?
the only place my seeds are at is on Etsy. That's the only place that I have actually, we had tried, my husband and I had tried going and doing a website and the whole works. We put in all the work, we got to the very end, and the shipping wasn't proper. It was charging way too much. It wasn't calculating it properly. And I was just like, this is too much work. Let's just squash it. We paid the fee, the whole works, got to the end, and the shipping just did not work out. So Etsy was the only place that is the only place that the seeds can be, you'll find the seeds at. And it's the only place that works for me at this time, until I kind of have a little moment, maybe we'll revisit having a separate spot for, a website.
Okay, and what's the Etsy shop's name?
And garden sense.
Okay, and we can go to your page and follow you, and then there's a link there that can take us to your Etsy shop.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's up, folks. If you have not followed Karen yet, go follow Karen and then go to her Etsy shop and support her. Or like I said, do some type of barter. If you got some black tomatoes and she got yellow ones, do that seed swap. It's National Seed Swap Day today.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Listen, I've got all kinds of tomatoes, red, green, purple, pink. It's all here.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah, I've got all practically all colors. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And I,
that's what's up. One of my favorite people are on my very first guest, Two Green Thumbs,
yeah,
and he always bragging about you. And so, um, yeah, that's a good plug right there for him to brag about
yeah.
you. And he,
Listen, have you tasted his spice, his five spice, and his listen? I ordered his five spice and the parsley the other day. Oh God, listen, I doused it on that roast I was making in the crock pot. Ooh, and I put it on some eggs. Amazing. The tea knocked me out, puts me to sleep. I loved it. It was so refreshing and very relaxing. Listen, I love it, Isidro.
Joe, I mean, can I get a sample or something? Can you send me a sample? I'll cut you another dragon fruit cutting if you can send me a sample. I gave him some dragon fruit cuttings, and I think they
Yes.
died in the wintertime or something like that. But Joe is a very good. Go follow Two Green Thumbs as well. He's growing in gutters, and one of my other friends, my client, stole him one day, and now he got gutters all over his backyard growing stuff in it. It's crazy.
Let's say grow by any means necessary, right? Why
Yeah,
not?
grow by any means necessary, right? That's what I'm preaching and I'm talking about. My next question is a question I ask everybody, and people love this. Where do you spend the most time in your garden?
Wow.
Is there a place that you go and like you just sit and think and write or sing or dream?
I actually there's a specific spot that I go. Well, this year is going to be a new spot, but every year there is like on the inside of my garden there's raised beds, tons of raised beds. You just don't see them when the garden becomes a jungle. And there's a huge boulder that I happened to dug up, and I just left it there because there was no way I was moving that thing. So I actually go in there and I sit on that thing, and I just sit there and stare and listen to the birds and one of the bees and whatever else is out there. And I just sit there sometimes for hours on end. My husband will come out and they can't see me. They know I'm out there. They just can't see me because of the denseness of all the greenery. And I literally just sit there, and sometimes my mind is so blank. I don't think about anything. And when I do think, it's just about, how grateful I am, or I'm thinking of an idea, or or how I want things to be, or putting something on the shop, or, oh, I should do this. Like I sometimes get inspired, but 90% of the time when I'm sitting on that boulder, I think about nothing. I'm just there, just being in nature.
That's what's up. I love that. I love that. I have a pond that I go to, and I just sit by the pond and read a book most of the time, or just like you, just sit there and just think of
Yeah.
nothing, just like listening to the water just
Yeah.
fall down into the pond. Because I have one of those solo panel things that make the water bubble up and
Yeah.
stuff. Sometimes I just sit there and just listen to the sounds of the water bubble up. I used to have fish in it, but the dog ate the fish when I got
Oh,
these dogs. They ate the fish out of it, so I won't put any more fish in there. But do you have a favorite trick or tip that you have picked up along the way in the garden that you could share with us?
my favorite tip or trick, I've picked up quite a few, to be honest. But one of the best ones that I honestly do is I bury my food scraps directly into the ground. That I learned from home because we didn't have garbage and all of that stuff. So we would just put our food scraps and stuff in a heap, like, make a pile. And then that would disintegrate and compost it, and then stuff will start popping out of it. So that's what I do. I save all my food scraps during the winter time because, the ground here is frozen. So I save all my food scraps in the wintertime, and I go there and I direct bury inside of my raised beds, all of them, even on the ground, because there's raised beds and there's plain ground on the inside. So I would just dig various spots and just bury it all. I used to have a compost bin, but the bear, living in Connecticut, is like the wild jungle out here, and the bears just roam around here freely, and it's been up. And he's gonna dig through it. He or she is gonna dig through it. So I was like, the hell with this. I'm not putting it back up. So just bury my food scraps. That's my I like doing that because I find it works best. And also, I get a lot of volunteers, peppers, avocado, mango. I get a lot of plants. I pops off, so I don't have to plant those. So that's one of the best tricks I've learned is to just, and I got that from home, is just to bury directly into the ground. I'm sure some people wouldn't agree with that, but I find it works best.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people do it. I mean, I've done it a couple times. I mean, I don't have bears, but I do have a compost bin, and I put stuff in there. But I have done put stuff directly in the ground, and I do feel like putting it directly in the ground does work a little bit better than the compost. I mean, because if you pack a compost full of scrap, you gotta really wait for it to break down. And then I have the one that you have to hand turn to, and so
Correct.
that's gonna take a minute. If you just go and directly put the stuff in the ground, that probably works really, really good. And I put everything in the compost
Right.
bin. Folks, this is your time. If you have a question for Karen, um, go to the question box and you can put those questions in there and we can pull them up on the screen and everybody can see the question together. It's not in the chat, but if you have any questions for Karen, let's put them in the question box, okay? All righty. She said, I'm scared to do that. I want to try composting this year, collaborator. Yeah, get you a compost bin. Get one that hand turns though, and make it easy for you instead of trying to turn every day.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, what is, I think it's called the tumblers,
yeah, the
right? The because
tumbler.
what we want for Christmas, yeah, the tumbler.
Get
He did and
a compost
he
tumbler.
wants. So I'm gonna, whenever I can't add anything into the ground anymore, because there comes a point where I put it everywhere now, so I need someplace else to add the rest. So he's like, yeah, he got me a tumbler one, so I'm excited to put it together. Lord knows that thing was heavy. I'm looking forward to putting it together, though.
Yeah. This was my next question, but somebody beat me to it. What is your favorite plant to grow?
My favorite plant to go. My favorite plant to go. Yeah, let's see. My favorite. Can I say crop? My favorite crop to grow, believe it or not, is garlic. That's my favorite crop. My favorite. I'm gonna go with crop. Plant. I have one too many, to be honest. But that's a tough one. I love growing cucumbers though. Those are my favorite because I make a mean pickle. So those are my favorite. Growing that. No, that's to crop as well. But plants, I can't really
Well,
pick a plant.
plant slash crop is all the same. So you said
Yeah.
garlic
Yes.
and cucumbers. When do you plant your garlic? I usually plant my garlic in October, but I heard that there's the um there's one that you can plant like in the spring and you can have it by the end of the
Yeah,
summer.
I did see that. I do mine in like being that the weather was super warm, continuously get warm now, even late in the fall. I actually plant that. When do I do it? I normally do it like in November. I wait a little longer,
Okay.
because to do it in October, but I wait till November to do it. Because I was waiting for the place to get a little bit colder, but then it really didn't get much colder. I just planted in late November. I think it was after Thanksgiving that I did that. Yeah. But in previous years, I used to do it in October.
Yeah, I usually do it. in October. Cool. Let's talk about these cucumbers because you said you do pickles. Now, are you doing hot pickles or are you doing sweet pickles? What kind of pickles are you doing?
I'm a big dill pickle head. I came to the sweet pickles. I'm not, you know what? I'm not a fan of sweet stuff. It's just how we were raised. It's nothing but fruits, and you never had much candy and all of that stuff. So I'm not a fan of anything sweet or too sweet. So I can't do the sweet pickle, but the dill pickle, I am a queen. I love dill pickle. I can make jars of it and just sit there and eat it. But I share with friends. I don't sell those. I just make them and share with my neighbors and my friends.
Okay, I have my first cotton candy and sour apple pickle this year. I was not a fan of it, but that was interesting to see how people are doing that now. They're making cotton candy pickles, fruit punch pickles. I'm a dill pickle person all day, every day too. Even with like relish, I cannot stand sweet
Yeah,
relish. It has to be dill. I can eat a
yeah.
whole jar of dill relish.
Yeah, it's something about the sweet that gets to me. I don't know what it is. My husband always makes fun of me. We'll buy ice cream, and it'll sit there in the freezer, and I'll maybe eat it like once or twice, and he'll be the one to eat the rest. He'd be like, "Babe, it's been sitting in there for like a month." I know, it just makes. I eat it in a cone cup. I legit eat it in a cone cup because that's it. I don't want no big cup. I want a cone cup like this big. That's about it. That's all I could take.
That is crazy that we like the same. Here's another question pop up. Do you find it viable to have a greenhouse?
I do actually. When I used to have one, and then the wind took away the plastic on it. I do find it valuable. I because what I normally do when I had it out there was, when we have to harden off the ceilings, it was a great way for me to put the ceilings outside without exposing them to if it got too cold or something. That was a great way for me I find that it was a great way to get the plants adjusted a little bit and then put them, you have them outside, but then you move them in there at night or whatever. So it is, I find it valuable. What do you think?
Me personally, I think it's valuable too. I'm finishing up mine. I did have the ones that had the plastic like yours blew away or ripped when it snowed. So now I'm working on a hard panel glass,
Yeah,
plastic glass one. Well, the framing is up. I'm gonna put the glass plexiglass type
yeah.
in it. So I won't have to have that blowing away or getting ruptured by the snow or heavy rain. So yeah, I think it's definitely valuable because I need to get all this stuff out the
Yeah,
basement.
yeah, for sure. For sure. Would you, are you having it custom built,
No,
or you buy
I
like a,
I I'm building it myself. It's 8 feet long and then it's 8 feet tall and then 6 feet wide. So just enough
right?
space in my
That,
yard for it.
yeah, I find that size to be like perfect for where I want to put it. I think that's a perfect size. It's just enough to put in all the tropical type stuff
Hmm.
that you want to put in there.
And then I'm gonna put like solar power
Yeah,
um type generator too in there for the winter time in case it gets really really
yeah,
cold. I mean, it's usually like get hot. I have the plastic walk-in one, and that thing gets really hot even when it's cold outside. But I'm just want to have that because I'm gonna put my papayas in there. I'm gonna put my pineapples. I want to be sure that there's some warmness in there and it just doesn't die when I take all the stuff out the house.
right, for sure, for sure. And you gotta have a backup generator in case the power goes out. In
Oh
case you're
yeah,
doing heat. In case you're doing electric heat. So
yeah.
it's one of those things. You gotta have that backup for it.
What do you enjoy most about gardening?
The peace that it brings, the peace that it brings me. That's what I enjoy most about it. It's just, that's why my name is like Garden of Zens. I know it's not a Zens is, not a, probably not even a word, but it's a word to me because I feel so many different uh, peacefulness when I go outside. I feel so many feelings. You know, I'm at peace. I feel you know, the tranquility. It's just the way that I feel when I go out there. So the peace that my garden brings me is like my ultimate. You know, that's my number. That's my go-to. That's it. That's all I get out of it. Love being out there. Is just I think of nothing. Even if I'm 5 seconds ago I was upset about something. The minute I go out there and cross that threshold and walking towards it, nothing.
That's what's up. That's I mean, Gardner's Dens. I mean, it makes sense now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You always gotta hear the story, and then you get the real meaning of why you decided to call it Gardner's Den. And I think you captured it for me now. You know what I'm saying? You definitely captured. Someone wants to know, what is the hottest pepper you have grown?
The hottest pepper I have ever grown, and I will never ever do it ever do it again was oh my God, what is that? Well, aside from Trinidad Scorpion, Reaper. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. I grew Carolina Reaper. Never again. Never again. Excited. Listen, I taste everything I grow. Never again. See, I tasted, and Lord have mercy, that thing was all down here, down my throat. Never again. So Reaper, Carolina Reaper was the hottest thing I've ever grown. And even my dad complained. Okay, so and he eats hot. Never again.
And I would say the same here. I did the Carolina Reaper, and um, I made a hot sauce, and I took it to work, and I didn't even taste it. I was like, I'm just gonna make it because I want to make it and see what people thought about it. And they was like, take that stuff back, take it back, take it back. But I actually did make like I turned it into flakes
Mhm.
with my
Yeah,
grinder,
yeah.
and then every now and then I'll put it in a shaker. I might shake just like that, just like that, and it got to be a lot of cheese or something on it, so it won't be as hot. But yeah, Carolina Reapers are hot. I did Trinidadian Scorpion peppers this year, and I just pickled those, but I have not ate them yet.
Yeah, they're hot, but they're not like kill you dead like the Reaper, man. The Reaper just hits you. It just hits you in all places. Like I can't do the Reaper. It's just too much.
Okay, six Gardner wants to know: have you grown Caribbean sweet potatoes? If so, any tips?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I did last year. I grew the ones, and also this year, a friend of mine, my Jamaican friend, you know, organic backyard gardener, he gave me some sweet potato slips from Jamaica. So that's gonna be in the garden this year. And the ones I grew last year was actually from Dominican Republic, and it's the ones that we also get back home. The slipping it was super hard. That, oh Lord. So what I did, I actually took the whole potato and put it in soil. And that's when I got a lot of slips. Trying to slip it in water, like put it in water to have it grow slips and do all of that with the toothpicks. No. I put it all of the entire thing right in the soil, and it actually slipped really quick. And that's when I just took the pieces off, put the roots on them really quick in the water, and then popped them in. So the tip is, me personally, that's my tip, would be to put the entire potato into the soil to slip it that way, because trying to do the water, the toothpick, and that, it just was not working, and the bottom of the potato started to rot. So that was my easiest way to get the slips.
Oh, very good tip. Very good tip. That's how I usually do it because I hate when it starts rotting and stuff.
Yes,
And then if you have it in the house, it starts smelling and everything. It's like,
yeah,
whew,
yeah,
just throw it in the compost bin at that
yeah,
point.
yeah. Yeah. The compost, or for any sweet potato that you want to slip really quick, just put the entire potato in the soil, and you're gonna see the slip is gonna pop up really, really quick.
And I would say also ginger and turmeric as well for me.
Right.
I don't root the the ginger or the turmeric either. I just take the whole thing and just throw it in the garden bed. Um And when I'm teaching folks gardening, I was like, you want to grow ginger, just take a piece, break it in half, put it in there. And they're amazed that it comes up.
Right. Right. Yeah, I do the same thing because it makes no sense in rooting it. It takes time. So just put it there, right? Where it's growing, that's where it's going to be harvested from, and that's it.
So early on, we talked about postpartum, getting into the garden, um, making these wellness boxes, making the pepper sauce, making the seeds, putting the seeds online, going through the website. Website didn't work for you. You decided to go back to Etsy. That works for you. People are buying your sauces. People are buying your seeds. How has gardening changed you since you started?
Hmm. It has changed me in more ways than one, to be honest. I've always been a person that was mindful, about my space, my well-being and things like that. But since I started gardening, it really made me even more connected to nature and just the wellness that it brings and just being at peace with myself. I love being, just being. I always tell my husband, babe, just be. I love being, and gardening has opened that up a lot more for me. And it also made me realize that how much food I can grow for myself and for people around me. It even empowered me to help others get to that point. Be like, I'm trying to convince all my friends to grow a garden. I've managed to convince two people, and they started, and oh, look at my lettuce, and look at my radish. And it really, it empowered me to help those people, and myself to grow a lot more, to realize that, so many things are like going to the grocery store now. I walk in the store and I'm like, oh, I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that, and I get all excited because I don't need to buy any of that stuff. It's all in my house. It's in my freezer. In the summertime, especially, I go right outside, so, that it has changed me in a lot of ways that I can't even put it all into words. But one of the most important ways, it just made me learn to be more, to be mindful more, to just be, and not stress too much, not worry too much, type of stuff. So that's one of that's the most important way for me that it helped change who I am.
That's what's up. I love it. I love it. Got one question left. Unless you want to add something, would you like to add anything else before I ask this last question?
No, I just want to say I was so glad and excited for this opportunity. To be honest, I was terribly nervous before we got on, and I'm so glad that everybody was able to pop in and take a look and tune in and listen to us talk garden. I can talk garden all day, truth be told. I try not to bore anyone with the garden talk. But I'm very, very grateful for this opportunity, Kamani. I really do appreciate it. And shout out to Two Green Tongues. It was, I loved it. I thank you, Joel. So that was really cool. And I got to do this, but there's a lot of amazing gardeners that I follow. If you need anybody for your show, there's a lot of great, great gardeners that I follow, and they have amazing content, and it'll be great to link up.
Okay, cool. I mean, I'm trying to get as many as possible. I mean, this season 4 is already done. I mean, I'm already got folks all the way up until April, which is something I wanted to plan out
Oh, nice.
early on because I have a busy schedule. So
Yeah,
I was like, let me plan out all 16 episodes,
right.
and then I'll find 16 beautiful people who want to share their story. And, it's life changing. I never really look at it as a life changing thing at first until I
Mhm.
started uploading um all these past episodes. I was like, oh my God, that was really, really good because I hate listening to myself afterwards sometimes. And so I didn't put the shows all the way up. And then I started doing it because some people are looking at me and want to give me some money to push this show further. And so I was like, I'm changing lives, and these stories are changing lives. And so that's what I love about doing this. Like got to get up early in the morning on a Saturday morning, and I was like, I need to tell these stories. And then Black
Yeah.
History Month, I'm going to even tell even more stories because I'm going to be doing something different. Like on Fridays, it's going to be a canned piece that I go out and interview some other Black and brown farmers that I didn't get a chance to get on the show and just get a little bit from them so we can hear those voices.
Yeah.
So I really thank you for even taking the time to respond to me. It was like, yeah, Dro was one of the ones who actually convinced me to like look at you and pay attention to what you were doing. And I was like, she fits the brown, the black part, you know?
Yeah.
Like Dro was really purposely when I found Dro out, he was not where he is today,
Yeah.
but I was like, this is how I want to set the show off. And I purposely picked him, and I was like, I hope that he's able to get on here. And one thing I know, I was like, I hope he's able to speak English because, I always just saw something, just him. And then I was like, when I saw him, and I was like shocked. I was like, oh my God, this is the perfect match of what I envisioned on gardening and Black Gardener Talk to be. I was like, this is perfect. So yeah, he definitely inspired me to look after you. And folks out there, I'm always watching. I might not comment on your page, I might like your page, but I am always watching y'all because there's a story in everyone, and most stories are always
And not only that, most people see me and they think I'm Hispanic. I'm actually not, as you know. I'm actually half and half. I'm half Afro-Guyanese and half Indo-Guyanese. My mom is Indo and my dad is Afro. So that's why I look like this.
and that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful mix.
Yes, yes, yes. I have very curly hair. It only looks like this because, I had to come on the show. I kind of put it in a
Yeah,
bun, super curly
yeah,
hair. So, mixed people just got that
yeah.
curly hair, you know.
When you get on Black Garden Talk, you gotta look your best, and you
That's
looking
what
mighty
I said.
good
Also,
today. I'm not saying that the curly hair is not good, but you gotta show off a little bit because you're on Black Garden Talk, award-winning Black Garden Talk.
right. That's right, Mr. Webby Award
Yeah,
winner. I remember that day. I remember when you sent out this stuff for the voting, and I'm like, go. I was like, I ran out. Everybody ran out of vote. I ran out of vote. It was so cool to see. I mean, you do great work, Amani. I do have to say, you really do great work.
thank you. I appreciate it, and I received that. Sometimes, like I said, I don't always see that sometimes, and
Yeah.
not that I want it, see it, or hear it all the time. I just like doing the work. You know
Right. Right.
what I'm saying? And when you like doing the work, it's like sometimes you don't see it, and then somebody will remind me. Oh, like where I currently work at now. So I just got this job in November.
Hmm.
I met this young lady at a big box store. She don't look like us, but I met her at the big box store I work at. She had some plants, and I was like, "Oh, you gonna grow some pepper?" Well, first she saw me online on a conference. She saw me there, and I said I work at a big box store in College Park. She came to the College Park big box store, got some plants, and she came and she found me, and she asked me some questions about the plants. What should I do? Blah blah blah. And so she told me where she worked. I was like, oh, that's nice, nice. And then 3 years later, I'm working with her. So I'm at orientation, right? And so my full name is Frederick hyphen William Kimani Anku Kenner. So my day job is Frederick, right? And so they're like, have you met Frederick? Come meet Frederick, right? Because she was walking past. And then she was like, she went berserk. She went crazy. She said, that's my garden coach right there. And I was like, it made me like really think like I'm changing all people's lives, not just black folks' lives, but all folks. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so that was really like eye opening for me. And she was running around the whole building. That's my garden coach. That's my garden coach. That's my garden coach. And so now everybody wants me to help them with their garden. So I was like, sometimes I do have to sit and smell the coffee, and I need to do that more.
Yes, yes, you definitely have to be because you have to take care of yourself first and foremost before anyone else, right? Because if you can't function, then they can get the information that they're looking
Yes.
for. So you have to definitely be selfish, as I always say. And my husband has always reminded me, dutifully reminds me, baby, gotta be selfish. You gotta be selfish and take the time out for you to get yourself together and be well, you know?
I received that, and that's what I'm trying to do this year, to be selfish to myself. But my last and final question is, what is the future for Karen Knight and Garden of Zens? Take your
Oh
time.
man,
Take your time with it.
what is the for myself and the gardener's ends?
Mm.
Well, the future for Gardener's Ends is to definitely expand more. I'm a one-man show, and always will be. The minute somebody decide they want to come in here, I'm shutting it down. So I want to continue to expand. Gardener's Ends include more stuff aside from seeds, boxes, and the sauces and stuff. I try to add more herbal teas to the shop because I do have one on there, but I want to add a little bit more. So just looking for various ways to expand the shop, to add more stuff to it. For myself, the future for myself is to just continue being myself, living, enjoying life, taking it one day at a time, tackle the problems when they pop up. Don't think too much. I do stress a little bit now because, like I said, we have a soon to be freshman in the fall, so that's a little nerve wracking. I'm not ready. I'm not her to just be over there by herself. I was gonna be that protector. My husband is like, babe, it's okay. No, it's not okay. So, but I just want to just continue to be who I am. Not change for anybody. Just be me, and enjoy life, man. And one day at a time, because just like that, it can be taken away. And hope I continue to inspire everyone or most people or all people to get going in a garden or continue to garden and grow and just be. That's just what I want for myself. And hopefully I live for a long time.
Exactly. I check that too. I think with doing the right thing in the garden, eating the right things, eating a hot sauce, because they say hot sauce is a
Oh
good thing to keep living a long life. I think that is a good motto to live by. And I believe it. You know what I'm saying? And I wish you all the success on all of that stuff. I want to see the shop grow and be at your best potential, and I'm sure it will. This is just the beginning. And then you did a BLAK Gardener Talk. Then you can pass this around. This could be part of your portfolio. When you want people to get to know who you are, go listen to my episode. You know what I'm saying? Over there on BLAK Gardener Talk. And yeah, this is more for you too. It's not just about me having getting anything out of it, but also you getting something out of it as well. And that's how I like to be. I thank you for your time today. I thank you for working with me through changing the time to a later time. Because I
Sure.
have to do some things. Um, Next week, y'all have Mr. Christopher Bradshaw on, and he's the founder and owner of Dreaming Out Loud. And this guy is doing amazing stuff. He has a farm. He's going to have a grocery store. He's working in partnership with my job supplying food. So come back next Saturday at 11 a.m. and check out Chris Bradshaw from Dreaming Out Loud. But again, Karen, I really, really thank you so much. I really do.
Thank you.
And I can
Great.
talk gardening all day too. We could go for 2 hours, but we got things we got to do.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you to everyone for tuning
Yeah.
in. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out to pop in and watch us. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Kamani, for giving me this opportunity. I loved it. I love every moment of it. My nervousness went away about 1 minute after.
Cool. So that means we should see you live more.
Oh,
Okay. And at some point in time.
I've been thinking about it, but it's showing myself as just like, but I'll think about it. I'll think about it. I
Think
promise. I'll
about it.
think.
Just
Yes,
thinking about it, it just is a good thing. But I want to always leave, y'all folks, y'all know how I like to leave. Live your life healthy, free from negativity. And as always, Black people, we got to stay dope.
that's
All right? Peace.
right. Wow.